that this is a viable means of transaction. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, is not a big fan of it. Others aren't as well. How do you respond to that?
Well, when your livelihood depends on not understanding something, you won't. And Jamie understands it. He's a very smart person. But he and other people in the financial services industry are afraid, quite honestly. This technology, blockchain technology, will do to financial services what the internet did to media and commerce.
Sure.
It changes the landscape. You and I can now exchange value without an intermediary. And for 838 years, we've needed intermediaries to exchange value. The banking system, finance system, accounting, auditing,
right.
All of those things are less valuable in the new world with new technology.
But you have to admit, if you had to pick, choose your fighter, who are you going to go with? Who are you going to go with? Elizabeth Warren or Larry Fink, who even came out and had made a recent, they sent a letter or they made a comment to the SEC about, they better leave basically Bitcoin alone. Like, leave it alone. It's a commodity. Like, the ETF itself can be overseen by the SEC, but don't touch Bitcoin. And I think we all know that, well, Gary is kind of Larry's little bitch, if we're just going to put it, quite frankly, as it is to be said. But, something that I have noticed is that there has been this crypto censorship. Now, this was over on CNBC, and it was a video clip I was going to play, and you could see, I'm concerned by Jamie Dimon's views on crypto, says Sky Bridges Anthony Scaramucci. This video got taken down. Then there was another video that came out, and this just shows you the corruption of Senator Warren, where basically what she was doing was she was giving Gary Gensler the questions ahead of time and asking him if he was okay, right? So that she could effectively make it easier on Gary to answer the questions. And if you come over now and you try to click this video on Fox News, look at this. I'm trying to literally click this video. This video will not play. You could see that they're clearly trying to censor this, right? But thankfully for Twitter, I actually was able to record the video before they took it down.
All right, a bombshell report tonight about how Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and her office coordinated testimony with the Security and Exchange Commission ahead of a Senate hearing. The Heritage Foundation Oversight Project, of which I'm associated, through a FOIA request, obtained emails from Warren's office to the office of Chairman Gary Gensler 2 days before his Senate testimony back in September of 2021. The email from Warren's economic policy advisor includes a list of questions. Get this, a list of questions that Senator Warren planned to ask, along with suggested answers for the chairman of the SEC. The advisor also wrote, quote, "Let me know if you're okay with the questions as currently written." 2 days later, she sent a follow-up, quote, "Let me know if it's looking like the chair has any issue with the framing of the questions. Definitely don't want to put him in a tough spot," end quote. And it appears the chairman didn't have any issue with these questions because Senator Warren asked almost verbatim from the email. Check this out.
Chair Gensler, advocates say crypto markets are all about financial inclusion, but the people who are most economically vulnerable are the ones who are most likely to have to withdraw their money the fastest when the market drops. Does this sound like the path to financial inclusion to you?
You're welcome, everybody. Yes, I do. I always worry that these things are going to happen, so I do tend to record them as soon as I see them. But, like John Eaton pointed out, John E. Deaton, and I want you to listen to this. Listen to what he says. Elizabeth Warren has violated her oath. As a senator sitting on the banking committee, she has violated her oath. Her job is to provide and engage in actual oversight of the SEC. Instead, she conspired with her close friend Gary Gensler, not only giving him the exact questions she would be asking before the hearing, but also the suggested answers to the same questions. That's not oversight. That's straight up just fraudulent, okay? He goes on to say, coach testimony before Congress, come on. She literally said that she didn't want to place Gensler in a tough spot. Are you effing kidding me? Her job is to place the chairman of the SEC in a tough spot, asking hard-hitting or tough questions. Think about this, okay? Elizabeth Warren is 100% the single best critic of Bitcoin and crypto in the U.S. Congress. She sits on the banking committee overseeing the SEC, and yet she hasn't asked the SEC or Gensler about SBF's multiple meetings with Gensler and the SEC. She hasn't questioned why or how Gensler missed SBF's fraud, considering his up-and-close meetings. And why was Gensler meeting with SBF multiple times? He wouldn't meet with Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, despite Coinbase begging for meetings for 2 years. No, instead, Gensler was meeting with the CEO of an offshore exchange in the Bahamas, who turned out to be the Bernie Madoff of crypto in her job overseeing the SEC. Why hasn't Warren asked for those meetings? Like with Patrick McHenry. Warren preaches against crypto every chance she can, but she doesn't ask Gensler how he missed FTX or Celsius or Luna or BlockFi or Voyager or any of these other things, right? So she doesn't ask any of that. Why not? Well, she found time to kill some crypto banks that work with some crypto companies, but why not focus on the source of the problem? Actual fraud. Is she not asking certain questions because of her own ties to SBF's parents? SBF's father, Joe Bankman, wrote Warren's tax plan in 2016. We know without a doubt that he helped SBF create all those shell companies to avoid taxes. SBF's mother runs a PAC to help Democrats like Warren, get elected. So again, clearly there is some massive corruption here, and we know that she works for the banks, she's owned by the banks, right? And the thing is while all this is happening in the background, and while the SEC is clamping down, if you actually go over, this is crazy, you go to investor.gov, which the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission runs, and what is this that pops up today? A crypto assets tab. This is crazy. So you click on this, and they actually talk about crypto. Now, of course, they're talking about, be careful of the scams and the celebrity endorsements and all these other things. But how crazy is it that now all of a sudden there just happens to be a page that pops up about crypto on the SEC's website? Obviously, this means something is coming. It means the ETF is probably getting approved, and they know that they have absolutely no choice. What else is interesting, if we come over here, this is crazy, by the way. And this is the stuff that they're not talking about. So while all this is happening, while you have Elizabeth Warren and all this FUD, and you're seeing the crypto prices fall, maybe some people are seeing the news, of course we were literally looking for a pullback regardless, but it is funny how crypto literally starts to fall, and the next day this bill comes out. By the way, I want to know who these insiders are that are getting to trade this, because, obviously shorting the market, and then this news comes out. Obviously somebody knew it was going to happen. Once again, just more of this insider crap. But listen to this. This is insane. The United States government recently made a significant change to the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, by eliminating two provisions intended. That's two provisions intended to tackle anti-money laundering, AML, concerns within the cryptocurrency space. Did you just hear what I just said? They actually removed them. Listen to this. Among the numerous provisions removed from the NDAA, two specifically addressed the need for a comprehensive review system and reporting mechanism to combat illicit activities related to crypto. The second provision focused on addressing anonymous cryptocurrency transactions, particularly those involved in crypto mixers and tumblers. So are you understanding what this means? This basically means that while she's trying to make a bill to make it harder and make it, basically impossible to conduct crypto, in the background, you have them removing some of these things that are getting in the way of cryptocurrency, basically being able to succeed in the US. It's kind of crazy when you think about that, but no one's talking about that. You know what else no one's talking about? The fact that Google updated its crypto ad policy, permitting crypto trust ads starting late January, coinciding with expected US approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs. These trusts enable trading shares in pools of digital currencies, potentially encompassing ETFs. So does Google know something? Because now, you remember they had completely gotten rid of the crypto ads, and now they're like, well, if they have something to do with trusts or these, official crypto products, then that's okay. We can show advertisements. Obviously, somebody knows something. So while all this FUD is happening, who knows? Maybe they're trying to crash the price to buy cheaper, right? You know the old saying, if you miss the boat and I miss the boat, well, we miss the boat. But if the institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back, right? That's what they say. And they're going to do everything to coordinate this FUD, to have this censorship, removing videos of Anthony Scaramucci, taking down these videos that pretty much shine Elizabeth Warren in the actual light. We see her for what she is, right? So, again, if we come over here and we have a look at Meltem Demirors, she was over on Fast Money. One of the things that a lot of people are asking is this really just being driven by the ETF? And then once it's approved, is that it? Or is there actually something more macro at play?
Is this rally about clearing through Binance and some of the mishaps, the transgressions, or is it really more about Fed policy? Look, I mean, it gets back to the existential reason for owning